Are you struggling to find a reliable and meritorious source of information? Do you have problems with interpretation of the market news and data publications? No worries here. Here we all do. But have you ever wondered from where all those analysts get their data? They all need to have some sort of inside information, right? Or use some very expensive tools to get them. Well, both things are correct, but that doesn't give them any true advantage. So in this video, I'll discuss 5 best free website/web services that you can use to make an even better analysis compared to what you read online. But first, quickly I'll explain what I mean by saying that any super high sophisticated software will not give them true advantage in the market. So first, you need to know that around 70 to 80% of actively managed investment funds are performing worse than their respective benchmark. And yes, that is true. What does it mean? It means that when you have an investment fund that invests in American stock market, they want to beat the performance of the S&P 500 index, right? And at first glance, they should, right? They have all the tools, they employ hundreds of people who analyze the market, and yet most of them fail. You might think, but the rest 20% does. And I must say that it is unfortunately false. I will record a separate video about that, but in a nutshell, those 20% are not the same people every time. It is completely random in each time frame you analyze, which means it is just pure luck that they happened to get that profits. So now you can see that even professionals are struggling to beat the market, and thus you as an aspiring trader or investor should be more patient. Don't stress yourself too much. I know it was way too long introduction, so now we will jump into the list. Okay, so the first website that we will check is bea.gov. So this is a Bureau of Economic Analysis of US Department of Commerce. So as you can see, this is the official government website of the United States. And why this website, you ask? Well, because many times we are analyzing the numbers publicated on from the macro calendar, like inflation, GDP, and so on and so forth. And right here you can find the detailed reports about those numbers, basically in order to be able to analyze and know what is going on, why the inflation is rising, what is most contributing to the rising prices, right? So what we want to do now is to go to this section, the sorting data by topic, click on that, and right here we have the prices and inflation, in case we want to know why the inflation is rising, what is most contributing to this. And now we go to the PCE, which is the Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index. Many times it is the CPI, but right here they use most often the PCE. Okay, so now let's go here and then go to the current release, which is the current report that we have that was published on 25th February. So now we have down below the table with the numbers, and right here these are year on year. So for example, this is the comparison of the September of 2020 to September 2021, so on and so forth. And you can see here, for example, you have the PCE excluding food and energy. And if we compare the numbers from the full PCE and PCE with the exclusion of food and energy prices, you can see that it is each month it is almost around 1% of the difference, which means that rising energy prices contributes 20% to the total inflation rate. And to have the full view, you can scroll down below with the description, and what we have here, the primary compensation within goods increases were widespread, led by motor vehicles and parts, other non-durable goods, and recreational goods and vehicles within services, largest contributor, housing and utilities. So from that you can see that the automobiles were the most contributing to the rising prices of automobiles, were the most contributing to the inflation, and the house spending and utilities, which mean energy. So as you can see, this is the thing that I were discussing many times on this channel, why the inflation is rising, and it is because of the broken supply chains and rising costs of energy So now let's go to the next website, and this one is the federalreserve.gov. So why go to the Federal Reserve website? Well, there are a couple of reasons. One of them is, for example, the speeches and the calendar of the speeches, because, well, you most often find that some Fed officials are having some interview, some speech publication, and it is not so often, but it happens that the topic of the speech is not that important for us as a trader, and that it is a low probability that it will cause some significant move on the market. So what I have in mean, what we can do is to go for the events, for the calendar tab, and right here you have the calendar of all publications of the speeches, interviews, and testimonies of all of the Fed officials. So right here we had the recent testimony of Fed Jerome Powell, semi-annual monetary policy report before the Congress. Watch the next one, what we can have here that is less important. Oh, we have over here discussion with the Governor Michelle W. Bowman on youth pandemic recovery. So it is due to 18th of the March, and as you can see, it will be most probably on your macro calendar, but from this topic you can see that it is not that very important. It will not cause it will most likely not cause any significant move on the market, will not influence the overview of the markets from on the market participants. So that is the first one. The second thing are, of course, monetary policy statements and reports. So right here you will find the publications of all of the monetary policy statements, and right here you can analyze them by yourself. Right here we have the recent one from the February 25th, and right here you have the statement ready to read and analyze on your own. Therefore you can find something, some statement, some sentence that was not covered by any other analysts. Therefore you can also digest it by yourself, because some of the analysts tend to be a little biased, because, for example, they are hoax, they have some particular view on the market, and therefore they will look for the confirmations of their view in the statements of the monetary policy from the Fed. So that's the another thing. And next, what we can find here is, for example, the beige book publications. So what is beige book? We were talking about in some of the previous videos. Basically, beige book consists of several chapters which are including the, we can say, forecast and data from the major businesses from each state of the US. Therefore, it can contribute to the overall view on the state of the economy, based on which many times FOMC is making their decisions whether to raise, for example, interest rates or lower them, or to, decrease or increase a quantitative easing program, so on and so forth. And last but not least, the most important thing that you can find on Fed website is the minutes from the FOMC meeting. So you go to the monetary policy tab, down below you have the latest minutes from the meeting. Okay, so the next website will be the ECB website, and I will not dig down so much as I did with the Federal Reserve website, but I want to showcase you what is important. So, for example, at this moment, the most important thing for us is the inflation data and what is causing this inflation, because we can see that it is seen globally, and but we need to know that, of course, different regions of the world will be affected in a different way. So in order to analyze that, we can find the data in here. So quickly, let's go for the inflation data. So we have on the left side this tab. We go to the statistics. Now the macroeconomics and the sector statistics and measuring inflation, HICP. And let's go down below to the dashboard. And down below we can see that it is the Eurozone. So the countries that have the euro as their base currency. And now we can see that, for example, from this chart, we have the housing, electricity, gas that is mostly contributing to the inflation price, because it is the 11.1 to 12% almost, and the transportation, which is also heavily based on the commodities prices like oil, right? So from those charts, therefore we can conduct our analysis and conclude that we can see that the commodities in Eurozone are more heavily affecting the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, the inflation. And we can check all of those things. We can check all of those things on other central bank websites. So we have the RBA and RBNZ website, Reserve Bank of New Zealand. We have the RBA, Reserve Bank of Australia. We have the Bank of Japan, Bank of England, so on and so forth. So you can digest all of those informations on those websites of the central banks. So the next website is TradingStar. Basically, this is the in-depth analysis of commitment of traders, the COT report, which is published by the CFTC, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. And basically the commitment of traders report is a report about the trades of the biggest institutions, biggest traders on the market that needs to report their trades to the commission. And basically, this is the report with the past data, because they are delayed. They are gathered from the Wednesday until Tuesday next week, and they are revised through Wednesday, Thursday, and are published on a Friday evening. And therefore, this is a little bit delay, but we all know that moving large amounts of capitals also requires time, so therefore we can somehow rely on those data. So basically what we can do in here, so go to the tradingstar.com, go to full COT charts, and right here we can go, for example, for the Euro FX commitment of traders and how we can analyze those data. So firstly, we are not watching about the spread section, and also about on the dealer and intermediary line, because a dealer and intermediary, these are the market makers which are always in the opposite side of the market. So what we are watching are the asset manager and institutional traders and leveraged funds, basically hedge funds. And also we have the other reportables. So we have the individual traders with big enough trades that they need to report them, and non-reportable positions. So those are just small traders, and as you can see, there is not even a counting number of those traders, those individuals. And how we analyze this? So basically we want to know how the market is betting right now on this currency. So as you can see, you have the long and short column, and right here you can see basically that most of the market is betting long on the euro. You can see that here short numbers are 158,000, and right here you have 398,000. If you even gather all the below data from the leverage funds, we have the 53.9% from the institutional managers, from the asset managers and institutions, from the leverage funds 11%, other 5.5%, and non-reportable 11.6%. Therefore, we can see that the bulls right now are in advantage on the market. So that's the tradingstar.com. Next we have the CME Group website. CME basically is this is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and this is the commodities exchange. So this is one of the biggest exchanges in the world that deals with the commodities. And here you can find, firstly, of course, the insight, the education, their analysis. So for example, let's go to the let's go for the insights and economic research, and right here you will have the reports, for example, on the oil markets or gold, cryptocurrencies, so on and so forth. You can also subscribe to their newsletter. Therefore, weekly they will send you the newsletter with the description what is currently happening on the market, how the traders are positioning, and how the fundamentals are influencing the overall sentiment on the markets. And with the specification that you have, for example, description of the particular currency pairs like Euro USD, GBP USD, and so on and so forth, and how the macro events are influencing the current sentiment. Next, and I think the last one, will be the on-chain data website. So basically, the CryptoQuant and Glassnode are the providers of on-chain data in order for you to analyze the crypto market. And we all know that the crypto economy is way different than the traditional economy. So therefore, we need to look for completely different metrics in order to analyze correctly the market sentiment, and overall to have good perspective and overview. So therefore, we would like to know, for example, what are the current flows, inflows and outflows of the exchanges from the spot and the derivative exchanges as well. And also, for example, how many active addresses there are, which means how many currently there are users on the blockchain, so on and so forth. And therefore, these websites are one of the best, I think, in order to receive those data. Of course, if you have live data, up to date charts, you would have to pay for a monthly or yearly subscription. But if you don't mind to have a 24 hours delay, then it is completely free to use. And of course, not every metric, but the most important ones are freely available for you. So yeah, these are my types as for the best websites / services that you can use for free in order to improve your analysis and therefore improve your workflow, improve your results. So yeah, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.